Greetings everybody, let's keep up with our analysis of the euro currency. Sive is here with forexpeacearmy.com as usual. So, on the weekend, as usual, two topics, our report and actually update of our trading plan for the next week. Concerning report, I will put the link down below the video. If you would like, you could read it. This week, report is relatively small, just because we do not have a lot of information, a lot of new data, statistics and so on. So mostly the end of the shutdown and its caveats and consequences are standing in focus. In particular, the Friday's collapse across the board, which is actually tightly related to, closely related to the stock market. So we're just trying to understand what's really going on, why it also makes sense for the Forex market and euro currency in particular. And I would say that in the nearest 1-2 weeks, everything depends on performance of the stock market. If the Fed and United States Treasury will be able to fix this problem in a really fast term, then everything will be normalized and euro currency should return back to the slow upward tendency. If they will miss, then it might trigger the actually explosive demand for United States dollar liquidity if stock market will keep falling. We treat this risk as a major risk for euro and in general all other assets, including Bitcoin. But on Bitcoin, you already see what is going on. Bitcoin is falling the first. It's just because it's most volatile asset, and investors prefer to sell them first compared to all other assets. But if liquidity still will be not enough, they will start selling everything else. Gold, some other assets, including some, I don't know, maybe some assets in other currencies. Just it will be some hunt for United States dollar liquidity, and this depends on performance on the stock market. Actually, the volatility that you see on Friday is a result of this problem, and if it will exacerbate it, then it's actually might be the big negative effect on euro currency as well. Actually, well, for the truth's sake, it will not be actually effect on the euro currency. It will be just explosive demand for the dollar. That's it. We treat this risk as a tail risk just by the many reasons. We discussed this in the report, so if you would like to read, you could do this. But currently we're trying to prepare the update based on the current situation. We do not know what will happen, but currently, by looking at the daily chart, I do not see any problems at all with our bullish context. Yes, we see some volatility on intraday performance, but on the daily chart we actually have a very small trading session. It has become the inside session, and it absolutely has no impact on overall picture. So context here remains bullish. I would say even more that on the high time frames, on the weekly, that better represents some fundamental factors. We start getting some clear bullish signs. The one just think, let's keep fingers crossed that we will be able to avoid collapse on the stock market. If we will avoid it, then everything will go as we suggested. So euro should keep going higher with a slow pace. Correspondingly, if we will not escape this, that might be not very pleasant scenario. So anyway, currently we have the bullish context. On lower time frames, on the 4 time frame chart, I do not see any reasons to step aside from our plan of the hand shoulders pattern. Channel has been broken. Market is turning in some retracement. Probably the slope of the neckline will be like this, at least at the current moment. But actually, guys, this is not very important to us because we are not planning to do anything right here. We do not want to sell, we do not want to buy here with some minor target. We would like to see market around 115.60, 115.80 area. Retesting of this broken trending line easily might be the base case scenario. As usual, breakout, retesting, forming of the right arm, and we're going. So that's our kind of the basic scenario here. Hand shoulders also will be useful in an opposite case. If liquidity issues will not be normalized, stock market will keep going lower, and the failure of this pattern, that market start return back inside of the channel, it also might be very useful because we will see definitely the weakness, and that could let us to make an early decision on a short entry. with the breakout of these lows. It's also possible. As I said, it depends on the particular driver, but the problem is that it's out of our management, so we can't do anything and predict. So that's the not very comfortable situation. But anyway, let's follow the patterns that we have here. Now let's go down to the hourly chart. Here we have a couple of moments. First is, take a look that market was not able to reach the OP. That's indirect sign that this pressure that we see here in volatility, actually, that you see, it is coming not from the natural supply and demand action on the euro currency. This is external impact for demand for the dollars, probably. As you can see, some inability of the market to reach it. Still, maybe on the next week in the beginning, market still could flirt around it and still will be able to touch it. I am not excluded totally. This might happen. Although that's actually we do not care at all about this. So as we said on Friday, actually our trade mostly is done around 16.26. If you remember, this was the butterfly target. If you're still holding some longs, you could make a decision what to do next. That target exists, but I don't know whether it will be completed or not. The patterns that we already discussed for this upper direction was already done. Also, we have no plans to take any short position here around the potential neckline. What we're interested with is a retracement, and you can see here around the trend line we have also confidence support area, which is 1584. On the line crossing the fib levels with the 50% mark. So between the 50% fib level and this confidence, it's around 1565, 1585. So that's an area that we will be watching for. Depending on what market will show there, maybe some patterns will be formed here as usual. It's our routine, what we do usually with the hand and shoulders patterns. If we will get clear reversal signs, we consider taking a long position. That and towards what we intend to do. This area is perfectly fits to the bottom of the left arm. It actually stands on the same level. That's all that we need actually. That's probably all for now. Let's see what will happen in the beginning of next week.